everybody! I'm here today to tell you how to overcome highway driving anxiety. That's right, in this video, I will be going over some specific steps for overcoming driving anxiety that is specific for driving on the highway. There are many people that fall into this category where they're not afraid to drive, they're not afraid to drive on any main roads or side streets, they're not afraid to park, but they are afraid to drive on the highway. And that usually stems from the speed difference. But I'm going to tell you a few simple steps that will most definitely help you overcome some highway driving anxiety. If you have anxiety about driving the highway, this is a video for you. Let's get right into the video. Step number one is you want to start off by imagining yourself driving on the highway. Now, for most people that have highway driving anxiety, even imagining it will elevate your heart rate. It'll maybe give you a little bit of trouble with your breathing, like you're going to breathe a little bit heavier, because it is a scary situation for them. So essentially, you want to start off by doing this a few times. Maybe as you're trying to get over this fear, this anxiety, every day for 15 minutes, you can sit there with your eyes closed and just imagine yourself getting onto the highway and driving on the highway. And by the time that you've done this several times, it's going to be a little bit easier physiologically on your body. And that's going to help you when you actually drive on the highway, okay? So once you've imagined it for a few days or a few times or a week or a couple weeks, whatever the case is, however much time you need, then you go on to step number two, which is you should actually drive on higher speed limit roads. So for instance, where I live in Toronto, okay, the majority of the main roads have a speed limit of 50 kilometers an hour. But then there are some main roads that have a speed limit of 60 and others that have a speed limit of 70 or even 80 kilometers an hour, not miles, kilometers an hour. So you want to find the higher speed limit roads that are lower than the highway speeds, but higher than the majority of the main road speeds. And you want to drive on those. I remember when I first had my G1, which is like your learner's permit here in Ontario, when I went onto a 60 kilometer an hour road, it was terrifying for me because I was only used to 50. The first time I was driving 60, I was like, whoa! So I understand how scary it can be, but you got to make that step. You're working your way up like a staircase, okay? So go on the higher speed limit roads. Step number three is you want to enter on a highway, like get onto the highway and exit at the next stop and try and stay in the right lanes. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be the rightmost lane because depending on where you live, that might be like the merging lane in and out. But you want to stay towards the right side of the highway because that's generally speaking the lower speed side. The one where, people are going to be driving slower because they're coming onto the highway or getting off. So you want to enter onto the highway on an entrance, merge on, and then you want to exit at the first available stop, okay? You're only probably going to be on the highway for like maybe a couple minutes max. And stay towards the right lanes, because that's going to allow you to be more comfortable, less lane changing, and a lower speed. So that's step number three. Once you've done that a few times, you move on to step number four, which is you want to get onto the highway and stay a bit longer on the highway. So maybe 2 stops, 3 stops, 4 stops, 20 stops. Stay longer on the highway and make your way into the left lanes. Not necessarily the leftmost lane, because like the lane all the way on the left might be a passing lane where you live. You got to look into that. In most places it is. But like the middle or left-ish lanes, right? And if you do that, it's going to make you more comfortable. So you want to essentially stay on the highway for longer and move lanes. Maybe even switch lanes a few times, back and forth, and build it up. You don't have to go to 20 stops right away. You can do 5 stops, 10 stops, 20 stops, 50 stops, and then time, like driving on the highway for an hour, for 2 hours, whatever the case is. And you can set destination goals. So like you're going to drive to this location, which is 2 hours away. Sorry about that. I'm just coming over a cold. I'm getting over a cold right over here. So you can drive to that destination. It's 2 hours away. So you're going 2 hours there, 2 hours back. And you can stay there for a couple hours at the destination to make it worth your while, okay? And then step number 5 is simple, which is just keep building it up higher and higher, longer and longer. And eventually, like driving on the highway is going to be nothing to you, right? Now, you got to remember one thing. Statistically, driving on the highway is actually safer than driving on main roads. I know that it has higher speed limits. However, with those higher speed limits, there's also more predictability. People are just staying in a lane for the most part. There's no turns, there's no lights, like there's no intersections, so it's actually statistically a little bit safer. Sorry. Sorry. But that's basically it. That is how to overcome highway driving anxiety. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great car and driving videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.